Hello? It's done. Okay, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Please remain standing for invocation. You don't have it?
Oh, I have it
Oh,
somewhere.
Okay.
I think the main thing is we wanted to have the commission come to order.
It'll take me a while to pull it up.
Yeah, to,
Okay, let's go.
for the benefit of the community.
Let's go to roll call then.
Okay, roll call.
Here.
Kelly,
Here.
I guess we do not have Commissioner Jeffy.
Okay. Do we have a motion to excuse Commissioner Wang? Do we have
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Okay, consent calendar. Excuse me? Oh, you're right. Hearing procedures. Public hearings are conducted by the chair in accordance with the following procedures. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. The chair of the commission directs all activity during the hearing. All comments shall be addressed to the commission. Any item on this agenda may be continued to subsequent hearing. Applicants will be allotted up to 10 minutes to present and justify proposals. The following staff presentations of the item. Other speakers will be given up to 4 minutes. The applicant is allotted up to 5 minutes for rebuttal of comments. No additional comments will be accepted upon the close of the public hearing, although the commission reserves the right to direct questions to any speaker on any matter. Special procedures, time limits may be applied to any items as prescribed by the chair. Appeal of commission actions must be filed in writing within 7 calendar days. Okay, consent calendar item.
The 2 items on the consent calendar.
Oh, you're right. Are there any continuances or exceptions?
So I would like to pull RB.
Yeah. And I don't see anybody, so now let's go on to the consent item.
Okay, so there's 2 items on the consent calendar. One is the planning commission minutes of June 28th, and the other is the item that sounds like we're going to pull, 2499 Homestead Road, where it's the First Presbyterian Church has a use permit asking for a 1-year extension, 4-year term, private school in conjunction with existing religious assembly use. And item 5B has been asked to.
Okay. So let's go ahead and pull 5B. Do we need a motion to move minutes?
Yeah, the balance of the consent
Okay.
calendar.
So do we have a motion to move?
I move to approve the balance of the consent calendar.
Okay. And I have to abstain from the minutes. So, all in favor? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item pulled.
Okay, so I had a couple of questions about this item. It seems like what we're doing here is we're asking for a 1-year extension of the conditional use permit for this facility. So my questions are the following. During the original application, it was appealed by a nearby resident at City Council. And so Council subsequently upheld the approval. I was wondering, was that resident notified during this extension?
We didn't, we did notice the standard, I think it was a 300-foot notice for this. So that adjacent neighbor would have received the notice.
Correct.
Okay, and then it seems like the original proposal was for a K-8, and it sounds now like we're going to a K-12.
No, it's been a K-12 for the last 4 years.
Okay, it just seemed to indicate in here that it was a K-8. Okay. So what I was wondering is, what are the status of the traffic studies? Because that's been promised for some time.
Well, traffic studies and all of that was conformed to in the original approval by City Council. There was nothing pending. There has been a request for those studies now, but not for the 4-year period. That is just now part of our application for a permanent CUP. So that is in works, and that is actually one of the reasons why we were asking for the 1-year extension, since these studies do take more than 1 month to do. We are in the process of doing that, so we've asked for the 1-year extension so that the school can continue in the interim.
Okay. So presumably those traffic studies will be done within this next year?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. My other question was that there's an item on the conditions for approval. It's item P2, and it says 80% of the students enrolled at the school shall not attend classes on site more than 3 days per week.
Yes.
So it's a K-12 school, and you're saying that 80% of the kids don't attend full-time?
It's a homeschool co-op. So the function of the homeschool co-op is it's 3 days a week, mostly 2 days a week for most of the student body. And that's just the structure of the school. It's a homeschool co-op, not a conventional 5-day-a-week
I see.
school.
It's
So that's why, in fact, one of the reasons why when we went to City Council for the ultimate approval, because of their understanding of this model, they realized that when the neighbors spoke on the project, they mentioned, said, you know, it's been so peaceful the last 6 months since, well, I don't remember the name of the prior school that occupied this site, I think Cardin Academy, perhaps. And what the neighbors didn't realize is that our school had been operating there for that 6-month period. It's just that it's a very innocuous school compared to the Cardin, which was full impact, 5 days a week, you know, whatever it was, 8 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. And ours was sort of like intermittent, very sort of minor impact. So they were surprised to find that the school was in operation under the prior CUP legally and was there quietly.
Okay, for some reason I had missed that point, that it was a homeschool co-op.
The homeschool co-op, yes.
Okay, thank you, that's all
You're
I
very
had.
welcome.
Oh, so I move to approve the 1-year extension for item 5B.
Do you have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that motion passes, and this action is final unless there's an appeal to the city clerk within 7 calendar days.
The items for hearing, first item is 6A at 725 Los Padres Boulevard. And this is appeal of the zoning administrator's denial of a minor modification to allow a reduction in the setback on the side for an accessory building. This came to the planning commission maybe 2 sessions ago and was continued. The applicant was not attending.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Okay. Does staff have a presentation? Okay. Let's let the staff do their presentation, and then you'll have a chance to give a statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as previously stated, this item was heard by the Planning Commission at our June 28th, 2017 hearing, and it was continued. So we've been through this presentation before, so I'll just go through it quickly. You should all have copies, and you can't see. side setback would be retained, and then an L-shaped 28 square foot addition would be added. So the modern modification was denied by staff and appealed based on the fact that the required findings could not be made, particularly the first finding that there are unusual conditions applying to the land or building which do not generally apply in the same district. This is a standard size lot with a standard width and a standard size backyard where an accessory building could have been constructed within our standard setback areas. There's nothing particularly unusual about the shape or size of this lot. So for the reason that we could not make that finding, staff did deny that minor modification. So our recommendation tonight is to adopt a resolution to deny the appeal and uphold the denial of the zoning administrator minor modification for the reduced setbacks. Thank you.
Okay.
Question for staff. I'm a little confused. Is the existing accessory building that we don't know when it was built, has the setback been made smaller? Has it changed from the original? Or that's the way it was?
So with the portion that was recently constructed,
Or is it new construction that has gone into that setback, non-conforming setback, or was it already?
so the structure that we don't know, I don't know how to back up on here. Well, you can see it anyway. On slide 3, you can see the original construction. So that is within our required setback areas. And then on slide 4, you can see the addition that was made, which worsens the non-conforming situation of the building.
Just one second. Let staff finish.
I just wanted to clarify, so it was a larger setback prior to the new owner taking the accessory. Have they built it into the setback? Okay, so that's the question.
Just,
I can wait for staff.
let's let staff speak, and then you'll have a chance to.
So the setback is the same, it's just that there's new construction after it was with this new framing.
But the new construction did not extend that.
Didn't reduce the setback any.
Okay, that was one question. Thank you.
Anybody else have a question for staff? Okay, I have a couple questions for staff. First, the structures behind the property, I see 2. What exactly is immediately behind the accessory unit?
Which slide are you referring to?
Looking at the photograph that you provided, the aerial that shows the house behind it has, it looks like an accessory unit and a little storage shed.
On the adjacent property?
On adjacent property, I'm just, because
Oh, I assume sheds, I'm not sure.
I'm just wondering, are those also meeting the standard setback requirements for structures?
We don't have the dimensions for those structures because they're not part of this application and don't have any bearing on the legality and the findings related to this proposal.
Okay.
If that's an issue that's coming up for the commission, we can refer that back to code enforcement to verify that, but it should not weigh into the discussion since it's only relating to side and rear setbacks on this property at 725 Los Padres.
Okay. And then the second question I had for staff was regarding utilities. Are the utilities underground or overhead?
Not be underground. And I just want to clarify, this is an accessory building, it's not a dwelling unit. At least there's a difference between the two. So
Okay.
it's not for habitable purposes, it's just
For storage.
space. Yeah, well, I think it's beyond space for storage, but it is not for living purposes. Yes, restroom.
Okay. Okay, if no one else has any questions for staff, come on up. Can you speak in?
Into the mic.
Is the microphone, make
I'm
sure,
nervous.
is it
Okay.
on?
It's on, right? Well, again, thank you for being here and looking at our cases, and thank you for your question. Actually, first of all, this is our first home, and we were very naive about it. House, there was a shed there with the exact. We did not know it was illegal or like it wasn't within the requirement. We had no idea since we got this. I was pregnant. I was very pregnant, and I wanted to continue working after I had the baby because we had like 10 IVF to have this baby. We spent a lot of money. I needed to continue working, so I needed a space to work. So we thought that we could turn this shed into an office. That's what we did. We received the stop order. We already paid the contractor and everything, and we were so close to finishing it. So we thought that, you know, like later we could, like the city could come and we can do some modifications after I'm kind of, I mean, she's easier now, but up until now she has been very difficult. We had a lot of issues. So so again, our main thing, like we spent a lot of money. We wouldn't have spent that much money thinking that the location was not, legal. And the reason we thought that is because we did some prior modifications to the house. And when we did that, we got the plan from the city, and then, like, this is the plan. Stamp on it, and then when we talked later, after we got into trouble, they say that, well, we did not know the nature of the structure. Well, we did not know that they did not know. We didn't know anything, actually. We just thought that it was just, like a shed that we could use as an office. So, we did actually, we updated, we did a beautiful bathroom. And I understand that accessory buildings can have a restroom, but not a shower. So we are willing to, and we have to, I know, that we have to knock it down this portion. And when we do, we are gonna, knock it down the whole bathroom area. I have pictures of it if you like to see. But then I think it's, in my opinion, it's just fair because we spent $30,000 and we're gonna lose a lot of money on that. That, we are at least, because what we are asking is only half feet. We are, okay to comply, and I know we have to knock it down this far. And in return, because I really think that city should have, I don't know, like, there's something wrong with this. I think city has some responsibility in that, but I don't know. It's just, helpful for us financially, very much helpful. That we have to put firewall, and we are, willing to do that as well. So I don't know if half feet would make any difference in terms of safety or community, from community perspective. That place, so.
Commissioner Jean.
Yes, so we actually did review this at our last Planning Commission meeting extensively. Did you have a chance to look at the video for that?
I couldn't find. Maybe I don't have a lot of time. Really.
Okay, because we were expecting you to be at the last Planning Commission meeting. And so,
I'm sorry, sorry. Well, my memory doesn't work. I thought it was a Friday. I was very upset, and Rebecca knows how hard I've been trying. I spent a lot of money as well. So I am really sorry for that inconvenience. I just thought that it was Friday, and I was waiting for that, and then I received a phone call from Rebecca. I feel very stupid the next day, but that's what happened.
Okay. The main problem that I have is that you were given a stop order, which was, there was a neighbor that apparently complained about the structure.
Yes.
And you were given a stop order, and you know, I take those very seriously because otherwise it sets a precedence for everybody in the city to do illegal things.
Yes, I understand.
And so that is really a big objection of mine. The second is you must have had permits to add the bathroom, right?
Didn't have any.
Aren't you required to have permits to add a bathroom? So at that point, the structure should have been reviewed to get permits to add a bathroom. So
Well, the structure had plumbing, but we just made it nicer. We added shower. It didn't have a shower.
well, I think you need permits for all of that.
Yes,
So,
I understand. I know. And also, I want to say one more thing about that. Yes, I think the next neighbor complained about it. The reason for that is he has a second floor, and he's from his balcony. You could see our structure. And I think he felt uncomfortable. And then I was thinking the same. You know, even if I want to use this long term, it's going to be uncomfortable looking at each other like that. So we actually purchased 3 large trees. We planted there. We talked to him, and he said he's fine with it. So we made it nice with him. We don't, because it's not good for us. It's not good for him. And like I said, I was in a panic. Like I was coming, like when I was like 6, 7 months pregnant. So I just needed to finish it. Like I said, we spent a lot of money. We wouldn't actually do this. We wouldn't intentionally put ourselves in this situation. We just like really acted in a panic. And I wish we didn't. We would have saved a lot of money, and we would just do it with a permit. We were naive, and I don't know, we did not know. And like I said, I really thought that, like, you know, we have the problems with the contractor too. We got most of our money, so I said, okay, just finish it, because I don't know when am I going to be able to continue with this. And it's a year actually. We really couldn't do anything with it. Like I said, I'm just barely like managing everything. So yes, and I don't mean to. Okay. I thought that after we finish it, we would maybe open up some sheetrocks and do the permit part later. Now I know you cannot do that. Later I realized. I just did not know that, because I'm told that we need to dig down the corners. We need to put some like bases, like so many details that I did not know that we needed to do. In my mind, just open up sheetrocks and they inspect, because the contractors say that they did everything like ready for inspection, like we would pass inspection. So, yeah.
okay, can we go to slide 5? So your letter here indicates that there's a cherry tree that prevents you from moving the structure. And I don't see how moving the structure a foot to the left would impact any cherry tree.
Well, so in front of that place there's barbecue and there's nice dining area. So I thought that if I do L shape, like I have to remove that. I really needed more time to plan this. I did discuss this with Rebecca. Like I'm really doing everything in panic right now. Actually, the plan that I proposed, L shape, is not gonna even help. What we need to do is actually move this way a little bit. But I'm concerned all this, setup that we did. Can I show you pictures of it? Like how nice it looks. Like you're gonna have to.
No, we see pictures. It looks very nice. I mean, I don't have any issues that it looks nice. My issue is really that you ignored a stop order,
Yes.
And
I know.
that there was no permits for the bathroom. And, you know, there was a lot of things that we don't want to set precedents for.
Yeah. One more
Yeah.
thing, I asked John, what happens if I continue with it? And he said, we will give you another fine, $400 or $500. In my mind, I'll just take the fine. That's what I thought. So I'm sorry, but that was my logic. I didn't, like, really, like, I was just in my own world. I didn't mean to set precedent for anything. I didn't mean to upset anybody. I just needed a working space, and we already paid for the contractor. So that's what it is. Like, again, well, we are both actually educated people. So I mean, the reason we did this mistake is because of this, because this was an approved sign. In our logic, the location is approved. It never occurred to us that we need to, you know, pull back. The only thing we thought that we were just going to open up sheetrocks and they are going to inspect. That was our logic. I mean, now I understand that you cannot do that. I wish, you know, you could just simply pull the thing. You can't. So when you say, like, what is the big deal to pull this way a little bit, it's just going to add to the cost. We already spent, we could do that, yes, it's possible. But then, you know, we already spent a lot. It's just going to cost us more. The reason I wanted to do this is to save money. It just happened the other way around. Money burning place. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Commissioner
A
O'Halloran?
clarification on the new building, is there a shower in there? Or
There's a
just
shower. What
So
I-
you added, not only the bathroom, but you added a shower.
Well, there was plumbing and old looking bathroom. Yes, we had a shower.
That becomes the residential item.
But when we knock it down, the 3 feet behind, that will be totally gone. That will not be shower. We have to actually knock it down. Everything.
That will be gone?
That will be gone, yes.
Oh,
Because that's in the back, and if you cut 3 feet, that will be totally gone. We actually, the proposed outshape of a 3 feet is a restroom, not a shower, because I now know that for an accessory building, you cannot add a shower. So we are, you know, like, we are okay with that. I'm really using it as an office. I really don't need a shower. I thought that, you know,
so that was concerned that it becomes a residential unit. only.
yes, yes.
Now, I guess this is a question more for staff is, so what the proposal is, the only thing that's not conforming is that the setback, the 2 and a half, the setback and setback. So they will be making all the other changes. They're asking us just to not to require changing that setback.
Correct. So as proposed by the applicant, the rear setback would be rectified. It would meet the 5-foot requirement outside of the public utility easement. The request is only for the side setback.
Side setback,
Is about 2 feet 5 inches. Required is 3 feet.
and but they changed that setback. That's what I'm getting at now. From the item that the house.
They expanded the structure within the non-conforming setback.
So did they make it a large, were they, by what scale did it go into the would have been otherwise conforming to the, it was out of conformance?
Yeah, the original previous owners built it out of conformance, and then they did an addition to it, making added square footage that was also not in conformance.
So you didn't go further into that setback?
I do expand a little this way or
Anybody else? Commissioner Chahal?
So you mentioned that you had the approvals without mentioning anything. On those approvals, did you mention that you will be doing anything to this structure? Did you mention anything while you were asking for a permit? You mentioned that the city gave you the approval on a sheet. Did you mention anything that you will be touching this structure, you will doing anything on that? So that's the question. So how can you treat that as an approval for changing the structure when you didn't even ask for it? You asked for something else and city gave your approval on that particular thing only.
Just,
Right, right.
to clarify, the plans that, correct me if I'm wrong, the plans that you used for those improvements, you got them from the city,
Yes.
correct? You didn't draft those plans.
No,
They
no,
were
we
from
got
a
it from
previous approval from the previous owner.
Okay. And that approval did not have anything related to this particular structure.
Correct. It was
Okay.
just shown on the site plan.
But
Right.
it has the locations, exact locations of the structure, and has a, if you look at this, for example, it has an approved stamp.
Yes.
We didn't
No,
get it
I,
for
I,
this.
I understand that. I
Commissioner
get it,
Shahan,
that.
yeah, just so I think Rebecca covered that, but the permit that where the structure was included had nothing to do with that accessory building, but also the permits were only on the main house. Just by virtue of showing it does not grant any type of entitlement or approval process through the city. And then again, to add on, which was done here, plus the modifications does require a separate permit.
Right.
So just being shown on a plan doesn't mean anything.
That we didn't know. We learned that.
But you did get a stop order, right? That you knew that you have to
Yeah, it
stop,
was
right?
really
So if you
almost-
take that thing we didn't know, but then you got a stop order. You knew. Did you try to contact the city after you getting the stop order?
Yeah, right.
So what did they say?
Well, John said he could cover up the roof with something because it was winter, it was raining a lot, so I was concerned about that. And then I asked John what happens if I continue because I already paid for it and, the material is there. So he was nice, he said, I'll just have to find you. So I know that I wasn't going to be able to work on it for a long time, and the contractor would not wait for me. So from my logic, I just will finish it and then I'll reverse the permit. We would open up the sheetrock from outside and they would look at the stuff from outside. That's what I thought. So I'm wrong. I'm just telling my logic. I know I'm wrong. Again, I don't mean to, we put ourselves in trouble and we spent really a lot of money. And no matter what, we are going to lose a lot of money. If I knew better, I wouldn't do that. I know that I upset the city and, because of the stop order, I didn't stop. People may think this disrespectful. But really, I lost like $20,000.
So if you put yourself in the complainant neighbor, if you are the complainant on a similar situation, you will feel bad that, okay, they're doing wrong, they're being granted approval, despite the stop order, you will feel bad
I'll
that
talk
that neighbor
to the
is doing.
neighbor. I actually invited him. He came over. We had a nice dinner, and then we talked about that. He said, I'm not happy about this, but I didn't complain. But from his language, it was clear that he was the one who complained. We have a good relationship with him. And I said, I understand that you're not comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable with it. Would you be okay if I buy some trees? He said, yeah, I would like that. And I discussed what kind of tree I'm going to buy and stuff like that.
I'm not trying to pinpoint
So what I'm saying
right
is
neighbor, left neighbor. I'm just trying to tell any complaint which we make for the benefit of the neighborhood, we want the city to address it. That's I'm not trying to point out who was the neighbor, right hand, left hand,
No.
back, on whosoever it is. If we as a resident, we complain to city to fix something, we expect them to fix something.
Yeah.
And I'm looking over here like there was a stop order, there was a
Yes.
complaint, and I don't think we followed a proper procedure.
No, we didn't.
No.
And
Thank you.
I'm sorry about that. The reason I'm saying that I took his complaint seriously, I didn't want him to be uncomfortable because he's going to be my neighbor. We are not going anywhere. I want to have a good relationship with the neighbor. You know, like if he's not happy, he's going to be complaining about it too. So I try to make it nice with him. The city part, I thought that I'll take care of it later, but apparently I couldn't. It's not just I can just open sheetrocks. Apparently we need to move the whole structure. When we had the stop order, later I learned that the problem is the big amount of the problem. I mean, there are a lot of
So
problems.
I have another question. Another question. As an option, I know you will be making some modifications to this thing from the back set to make sure you fulfill the back setback. Did you ask the same contractor how much will it cost to move that right-hand side wall by 6 inches or 7 inches, whatever needs to be?
But that's another $15,000-$20,000 more.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, I thought that maybe that's better for us too, but then it adds more.
Commissioner Casey.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
So I really feel bad for you because I went through the same situation when I bought my house, first house, well, my house that I live in now. I mean, I did remodeling. I depended on my contractor to do the right thing, and you know, you on top of that, you were, you know, having babies. So I really feel for you,
Thank you.
and I just feel terrible that, you know, things turn out this way. But you know, as a resident, we hope our neighbors to respect the
Sure.
the city's rules. So I have a couple of questions. So what kind of is this on a slab foundation?
It is
On
yeah.
a slab, okay. So so that portion, you know, the side, is that where the bathroom is? Is that why it's so
on the
hard
back,
to move?
which needs to be knocked down. It's on the back. If you don't see the picture over there, but it's here. So this needs to be cut down from here, and the bathroom is here.
Oh, the bathroom is there.
So that part needs to be cut down. The bathroom will be gone.
Oh, you're gonna remove the bathroom
we are
anyway.
going to have to remove the bathroom to make it away from the back fence.
Okay, so but in order to comply with the side setback, it's gonna cost you another more money.
I mean, otherwise you're just going to have to knock it down everything. I mean,
Right.
we have option of knock it down here and, you know, add a little more here, or knock it down here, add a little, you know, toilet on the side. So if well, we are gonna, regardless, this is gonna be this way. So what we are asking, per inch, I guess, this much more. If we can keep that, it's just gonna save us, I don't know, $10, $15, $20,000, depending on which contractor you talk to.
Right.
So I guess that's what we are trying to do, save a little bit.
Right. Okay, I understand. So when you got the stop order, it sounds like is John your contractor?
No, John is the inspector.
Oh, you're talking about the city planner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I saw him many times.
Okay, so you did talk with the
Many
planner.
times, yes.
So you
I
were-
was in the city many times. Actually, one of the complications was I have like a lot of paperwork. I was very pregnant. I went to city many times. I got many different suggestions. It took a long. I'm already, you know, pregnant and about to give birth. I have those worries, and I'm giving a lot of different languages variance. First, I was suggested to get variance, and then apply to PG&E and AT&T. But I don't know what is variance. Later, I realized we can't even do variance because of the electric pole behind. It's not in our property; it's on the other side. But still, what's that called? I forgot. Because of easement, apparently we can't even do variance. But I have paperwork that suggested, you know, people marked, and that's what you should do. I was trying to understand, okay, where do I apply? How do I find PG&E people, AT&T people? Every time I went there, trust me, I was there at least 6 times. I should have my name signed if you want to go back. Every time I talked to a different person and I was giving different suggestions. Finally, I was assigned to Rebecca. There was a consistency, and she has been nice and sweet and understanding and guiding very well. I don't know why I was not assigned to someone from the beginning, because each time you go there, you write your name, and whoever is there is supposed to. There was another guy who told me that. Oh, do you know? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I didn't dismiss. I didn't work hard, but I couldn't figure out. I did not know what to do. And I paid most of the money to the contractor. My material was there. I couldn't figure it out. So I said, okay, let's finish it, and then I'm going to do it once everything is better for me. So I didn't dismiss. I actually. I mean, I saw you coming times, 4 times, Rebecca, maybe more. But that's
So may I ask the staff, do you think the applicant tried to make an honest effort to try to address the situation, or?
I started with the city in January, and since that time, yes, we've been working closely together on this. I can't speak for the last year, 2016, and what occurred during that time.
You didn't meet before that.
But this year, we have been working quite closely back and forth on this and trying to find a solution.
And that was after the demolition, the city told
Yeah,
the applicant to
we began
demolish
working
the-
together after all the correction notices.
Right.
Well, I guess somebody in the city noticed that I've been, struggling with this, and then finally signed Rebecca, because I complained, like, every time I come here. Somebody yelled at me, an older guy, like, seriously, and that was a witness for that, and he felt bad for me in the city. But I really worked hard on this, I shouldn't go.
Okay, so this is like, not a question. This is just, I'm just throwing it out there. You're gonna demolish part of this property anyway, and, because you have to do extensive work to comply with the
Yes.
back easement. So, the city is about to pass a new ordinance to allow accessory dwelling unit to be built on single family residences. So if you're gonna go through all this work and expense anyway, then maybe it makes sense to consider, building a full accessory dwelling unit with the full bath and a kitchen, so that it will be, maybe it's gonna be worth your money to do that if you're gonna have to spend the money.
Oh, that's
anyway.
really nice for you.
It's just a suggestion. Yeah.
I appreciate that you mentioned that.
Okay. All right. So I don't have any more questions, but I really feel for this applicant. I just feel terrible.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I would like to ask you just a couple things, because I'm looking at the structure. Obviously, it's pretty small, and quite frankly, if it was me, I would probably open up the sheetrock. If they're in hold downs, basically unscrew the bolts, put about probably two 2x6s, jack it up, pour slab next to it, probably a couple feet, attach it to the existing slab, and just move it over. It's time and money, I understand that, but I don't see anything that would prevent you from that. And my concern, looking at it, and I see what appears to be juniper is pretty tall, that you're going to need room to clean around it, and you have the structures behind it as well, so you have a risk of fire. One of the reasons we have setbacks is fire. The other one is obviously the utilities. What I would suggest, like similar to Yuki, is move it, and if you want an accessory unit, put in for an accessory unit. There shouldn't be a problem with the size of your lot to have an accessory unit with a little small kitchenette and a bathroom and a shower. It's gonna cost you more. But if you want to save the structure, I don't see it being that difficult to jack it up and move it over a couple feet. You got to pour the slab, and you may have to undo some hold downs, unless they use just 2x4s shot into concrete. You know, then it's a little more difficult. But assuming they're hold downs, you just open up the sheetrock and you unscrew them and you move it over. You just jack it up.
Over to the front.
Yeah, I mean, my uncle used to be a contractor, and he would use house jacks, and he would move whole houses. And this is small. You could do a couple jacks and just move it over. I don't see an issue why you couldn't save the structure if you really wanted to.
I want to.
Yeah. So I'd probably talk to a couple contractors, and I would see about just pouring a slab adjacent to the side you need to move it over to, undo any hold downs. You may have to open up the sheetrock or stucco or both, and just move it over. So you're gonna have to obviously disconnect it, but you know, if you want to have a bathroom, we're probably going to not have an issue with it because you have a big enough yard. So if you're going to pour a wider slab either in front or on the side, I would go ahead and plan for a bathroom where it makes more sense. So
When that law will pass? When?
state law passed in January. We've already passed it here on the planning commission, and council approved it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Chair. The second reading of that ordinance will be in late August. It'll go into effect in late September.
Okay.
But-
Now, are they allowed to apply for a permit now?
Yes.
Yes, because it applies to the state rules. So we have to, as of January 1st, all the state rules apply, which is the 7,000 square foot lot. For a 6,000 square foot lot, which is what we recommended, that's,
What's your square footage on your lot?
But it depends on where you look. Sometimes it's 5,900, sometimes 6,000 something.
Okay. Do you know what the final version the city is?
The city's ordinance?
You know, for accessory units, what the minimum size is?
Well, we ended up not having a minimum. We had, if it's 6,000 or greater, it's basically by right. If it's less than 6,000, then there are additional requirements such as FAR of a certain percentage. Yes, we'd have to look to see which one she qualified for, but it's likely there'd be something. she could do.
Would it all be a new application?
Absolutely, that's not before you tonight.
I would, if you want an accessory unit, I would recommend asking for the accessory unit. It's more likely than not. Seeing what your neighborhood looks like, quite frankly, I think you have the room for 140 square foot accessory unit in your yard. And, you know, if you can save part of the structure, that would be great.
That's what we want to do for.
Yeah.
We don't really want to have a big structure there because our backyard is really pretty. So we don't want to like mess that. We really, like having a bathroom, a shower will be great. Like because of the baby, we had a lot of guests, for example.
And we would be happy to work with you, and I think staff would be happy to work with you, especially with the new ordinance wanting to increase the number of accessory units. My main issue with this is the setback, especially with those junipers, which when a juniper gets going, if it catches fire, it's like a torch. So I would like to see the minimum setbacks on the side. That's my personal opinion. But I think you can save the structure, assuming they didn't do something like put pressure treated boards and then shoot nails into the concrete. But even then, theoretically, you can jack it up if you really want to, and just move it over.
Jack it up. This way, you mean?
You can take a structure, remove the bolts on any hold downs, put it on a couple jacks with a couple 4x6s, and just move it over. You know, contractors can do that.
These will all be new applications
These would, you would have to deal with staff on this, but
beyond the scope.
if you know a good contractor, it shouldn't be any problem for a contractor that's done it. I mean, they may want to start fresh, but
When you talk like that, you know, cut from back, cut from the side, you know, they are already, contractors are.
yeah,
What
I would,
what the chair's saying, talking about is lifting the whole structure and then moving it.
and saving it, and
So
But could you lift-
you're not breaking anything, you're just lifting the whole structure and then moving it.
you're basically unsecuring it from the foundation
Oh,
and moving it over.
seriously? You can do that?
Yes, you can. It does cost some money, and you need to have people that know what they're doing, but it can be done, and houses are moved.
That's news to me.
Yeah,
Because
so.
I was always teasing, like, I can't really move this.
No,
So you can't-
obviously, I would not suggest you do it yourself unless you have some construction experience.
Oh, that would be amazing if actually we could move.
I think we've hit all it. Let me open it up to the public for the public.
No, Mr. Chair, you have a question.
Oh,
from
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Reinhardt.
Commissioner Reinhardt.
Since Commissioner Kelly suggested this solution, how much did you say it was going to cost to demolish the wall? Have you got a quote for that already? For
Demolish or rebuild? Demolish a couple $1,000s.
and then and rebuild the total.
Well,
Just to,
the two people we talked to, the cost will be like 50,000. That's labor, 30,000.
and this is just I'm just talking about the part you already have to.
So I asked both scenarios.
Yeah.
Like what will be. But they asked like technical. Otherwise, to modify it will be around 30,000. They still ask less. I mean, I still plan to shop around, but two contractors I talked to, that's what they say.
Okay. I think so. There's a few issues that got brought up. I think there's two big ones. It's everyone's been trying to identify if they screwed up or not. I think everyone knows that happened. You learned that this is a $30,000 mistake or more. So with that being said, I think we're at a time where we just need to decide what the options are. Steve suggested a good one. I think it's probably your best one actually, is just moving it. I think it's going to be a lot less. Maybe it's not, but I think if it was me, I would probably try to do some research and figure that out. If that costs less than what you're proposing, that's what I would do. If you don't want to do that and you want to proceed with a $30,000 or $50,000 remodel, I think it's apparent to me that you didn't know what you were doing, and you know, the fact that this is encroaching into the setback, but within the existing condition that was there before, you know, you violated a stop work notice, and there's a lot of mistakes, but I think there's sort of like four parties here that are involved. There's you. We kind of know where you stand. The neighbor. Do you know which neighbor was it exactly?
Yeah, on the right side, on the corner, on
The
this
corner
side.
house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we planted trees.
Next to the big tree?
Yes. So yeah, yes,
This one to the
that
right.
one, yes.
Okay.
But we have good relationship with him, and we planted trees. Forgot the name of it. Like you cannot see his balcony or our place whatsoever. It's
Okay.
pretty.
I mean,
Like there's
I
nice
think-
privacy for both of us.
right. I think we're taking your word that that person's okay. They're not here, and they're the one that filed
I
the
think
complaint.
he's feeling. He never admitted, by the way. He's feeling a little
Oh,
bit
so we don't know.
embarrassed.
But the person,
Oh,
this
but
has
it's
been
very-
noticed and no one came. Okay. The other two parties would be the city, and I'm assuming that the utility easement is it SDP or is it a phone company? But they're legally forcing them to demo, is that right?
They're already going to apply to that.
Because, I mean, that's not before us because they're already being forced to do it by someone else.
The applicant is proposing to remove that portion that's in the 5-foot public utility easement. We didn't explore, I don't know how much you explored options of being able to retain in the 5-foot setback with the utility agencies.
Well, I was told that, first I was told I can do that with variance. Then I was told that there is no way I can do that because of easement.
If I could just mention that it requires an encroachment permit, and that fee is somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 per agency, so
Even if they granted it, it would still cost.
that is for granting it. That's the price for processing an encroachment permit per agency.
But they also don't have to approve it, right?
No, they do not.
Right. So I think the fact that you're going to have to move the structure or rip it down and rebuild a portion of it demonstrates to me that you didn't know what you were doing. The fact that the neighbor is comfortable with this and that I think the city is saying that you did this wrong and you violated some of our processes, which I agree with. But in my opinion, you're sort of, other than what you're already going to be fixing, you're within the previous setback. Broke rules, it's not good, but I think you've more than learned your lesson. So I don't know that further penalty is going to be that beneficial. I think you get the point, and I don't know that this will be setting precedent. I can see why you could argue either way. I think the point has been made for this person, so I'm comfortable, letting them keep the existing setback that's there, and if they're going to modify, although if it was me, I'd probably pursue something more along the lines of what Steve suggested because I think it'd be cheaper. So I'll leave it at that and let someone else talk.
Is there any member of the public that would like to speak on this item? Okay, do we have a motion to close public hearing?
I'm sorry, can we actually apply for variance? Because I was told that I could.
What's in front of us right now is the exception to the setback. Okay. If you want to have an accessory unit, if you want to get a permit for the changes, you're going to have to submit plans. But right now, the only thing in front of us is the exception to the setback, and that's the only thing that we're going to discuss today. Okay. Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Discussion?
I have the same understanding that Commissioner Reinhardt has, is that the point in front of us right now is that 2.5-foot setback, and that was an existing non-compliance. Seems like everything else is being addressed, including the 5-foot setback is now going to be corrected. And I think the other items are all being addressed. The only one I think that is a consideration is this 2.5-foot setback. And my feeling is that it was there to be ignored and not having an increased impact on the neighbors by leaving that as a variance. And so I'm happy to leave that as a variance. And so I would move to accept the variance. I'm not sure how the right way to say that would be.
Seems clear. Commissioner Casey?
Thank you. So, how much time, if this motion, if the commission were to adopt the staff recommendation, how much time will the applicant have to be in compliance with the 3-foot setback?
From our understanding, 60 days to get permits.
60 days, okay. And I didn't quite follow about $10,000 per agency that you were talking about. What would that apply to?
The encroachment permit process, if someone wanted to basically build a building or install something of a permanent nature and it's in a required or established easement, this is a public utility easement. We don't know if it's more than one agency. It could be SVP, and it also could be underground if there's a gas line or something of that nature, or a sewer line. Those would be two different agencies, or it could be up to three if there were multiple utilities in that area. So every agency charges for an encroachment permit if you're going to build something or leave something there in that easement that's supposed to be free of obstruction. And so they each charge between $5,000 and $10,000 to process an encroachment permit to allow you to maintain a structure in that easement area.
So,
No, it's the building that's along the back side of that accessory structure. If it's removed, that's correct.
so is it known that that accessory, that unit, that thing in the back encroaches?
Yes, it does encroach into the
it does.
public utility easement. So if they would be, if they wanted to keep that, they would have to apply for the encroachment permit.
After they come into compliance in the back, are they still going to be encroaching?
No.
Okay. All right, I understand. So if they were to not comply with the backside easement requirement, then they would encroach. So it's going to cost them a lot of money to deal with each agency, is what
Correct.
I'm hearing. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. All right. Let's see now. Do I have any other questions? No, I guess. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Jane.
Staff has recommended to deny this exception. And, staff has to deal with these every day. And I know they do a great job trying to protect our city from people trying to bend the rules. And I think that, given that there was a stop order issued, which basically said you can put the tarp up over it and you can board up the door. And I think that was very clear that that's all that was allowed, and that I don't know why the contractor just went ahead and kept doing things without permits or without recommending permits, but it's really, I think the I'm going to support staff recommendation.
Okay. Commissioner Chahal.
So I agree with that, especially when we have a complaint from the neighborhood and there was a stop order, and we are here to protect the neighborhood as well as the staff recommendation, and we can override. If had it been the stop order had been adhered to and they would have started the variance at that time, it would have been a different issue. But with the existing conditions, I would go with the staff recommendation. Otherwise, we are basically violating what has been issued, what is as a process as a whole. We are trying to violate that process. I'll agree with the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Commissioner Casey.
The question in front of us right now is whether to accept or to follow the staff recommendation or not. But are there alternatives, like maybe giving the applicant more than 60 days so that they can figure out the best option to come into, for example, compliance with the easement? Because we suggested several options to do more work on this property, and I know it takes time to get quotes and then get the best, figure out what the best plan is. So could that be something that the city can do? I mean, the property, this structure has been not in compliance for many, many years, probably. So maybe giving them a little bit more time for the applicant to figure out what to do might not be such a bad thing.
Definitely, same between time and they have to take the appropriate.
Yeah.
I want to clarify, I have a motion on that. Floor.
Yeah. Commissioner Casey's question is for staff. And actually, I have a similar question. If we deny it, they have 60 days to bring it into compliance. If we continue it, will they have more time to work with staff to come up with a resolution?
Yeah, once the planning commission makes a decision, then the rest is deferred to staff. So the compliance part is not part of your jurisdiction. So we are not going to be unreasonable with the applicant, but I just gave you a ballpark idea of what we would, so it would depend upon what their preference is to do. Do they want to pursue a variance which has even stricter findings than the current one? It's basically the same, but there is a lot tougher bar to meet, that there is some type of hardship that is not self-imposed, and that's what you're dealing with tonight as well. It's essentially the same thing. So in our minds, we would not support a variance because it's the same situation. There is no extraordinary hardship related to this application. It was a self-imposed situation. But if they're going to just move the building, or they want to do an accessory dwelling, it has to be moved 5 feet away. So you're talking about twice the setback. The moving of the building is not going to change. It's going to have to be moved. So they can move it and then continue the work, but I don't think 60 days is unreasonable to pull a permit. There isn't too many options left.
Okay, fair enough. Commissioner Reinhardt.
One question, simple answer. What was the total price of the construction to date? Yeah. That's how much you paid to do what you did so far. So I think the point of what I was getting at, and I'm going to make a motion after I finish this sentence, is, there's some people I think that try to skirt the rules by acting like they don't know what they're doing and I'll just pay the fees. But if a major development company spent more than the cost of the initial project to construct something, I think that's not even close to making a mistake. That's like, I really have no idea what I'm doing. And I think they're being penalized, in another way, which is they're going to have to comply with this easement either through the variance process, which I don't recommend you do, by the way, which would also cost $30,000 or more, or you move the structure, which I suggest you look into doing, or I propose we approve it, the variance on the setback, which is the only thing we're discussing here. Right, your motion is on the floor, so I think I'm ready to vote on that if anyone else is.
I think I'm ready to vote. I just want to add one comment. I think all of us here would have no issue with you having an accessory unit, but I do have an issue over fire safety, especially because you have junipers right next to the structure. My recommendation, you can choose to follow if you choose, is to move the structure because I think it would be cheaper than anything else. It'd probably, actually I won't guess on the price. Get a licensed contractor, get a couple quotes, but I'm not going to support the variance, but I would be happy to support if you came back, or staff would be happy to work with you on an accessory unit. But my recommendation, if you're going to move the structure, move it 5 feet. That way, if you want to use it for your family or for yourselves, it's in compliance, it will add value to your home. Thank you. Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
And for the record, I don't think it was ever seconded. May I interpret it? It was a motion, tell me if I'm understanding correctly, it was a motion to sustain the appeal, overrule the denial of the minor modification, and approve the minor modification for the 2.5-foot setback where a 3-foot setback is required.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Aye.
So that motion fails. Another motion.
I make a motion to go with staff recommendation.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's move on to the next item. No,
So that's a final decision?
Yes, so that motion was to advance the staff recommendation to deny the modification. So you have an opportunity to appeal this decision within 7 days. You can file an appeal in our department. And that would go to the city council. It would be 4-3 in favor of the staff recommendation to deny. I don't know. We could be 60 days to get agendized. But you only have 7 days to file an appeal.
So I guess our recommendation is to explore all the options and come up with the best plan and then decide what to do, but work quickly.
I understand your position. Okay. And we understand your situation. But hopefully this will be an opportunity, because you did say the room has been used for family, and if it is going to be used for not just an office but for somebody to sleep in, then okay. Again, it would probably be best if you're going to have to look at this again, to look at our new accessory dwelling unit regulations.
Explain what the ADU
Okay.
is.
We can have Rebecca review that with her
would-
after this meeting.
Yeah,
I mean,
it-
in the
it's-
office. So we
Okay,
can.
perfect. Work with staff, because they will work with you and give you all the information you need so this can be resolved. Okay? All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. Michael?
Item 6B hearing is at 150 Mark Twain Court, which is a 8,700 square foot unit. And what the variance is they're asking is to reduce the minimum rear yard setback requirement from 20 feet to 10 feet to construct a 364 square foot attached one-car garage, where a two-car garage is required, with the conversion of living area into a fourth bedroom. The project involves demolition of the existing 204 square foot rear patio and the construction of a 122 square foot addition to the home.
Okay. And does staff have a presentation for us?
Thank you. Chair Kelly, members of the commission, the applicant is requesting both the variance for allowing a reduced setback to the rear. And as you can see from this, the property is a triangular shaped lot. It's in the end of a cul-de-sac. There is currently an existing one-car garage, and they're proposing to demolish that and relocate it to the back, but because of the angle of the lot, there is not room for a two-car garage in that location. And so the request is to allow an encroachment into that rear yard setback and maintain the one-car garage, but allow the conversion of the existing garage area to be folded into the floor area of the main dwelling, and that would allow for a fourth bedroom. Next slide, please. So this is the proposal again is to demolish the one-car garage and sunroom. It currently has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, 1,840 square feet of living area, and the 204 square foot garage area would simply be replaced with the addition of the new bedroom. Next slide, please. So the proposal again is to add 1 bedroom, and that would increase the square footage by approximately 300 square feet, less than 300 square feet, and they would be building an oversized one-car garage of 364 square feet. So the proposal again is for that additional bedroom, and there's no net loss in terms of the parking that's available for this property. And next slide, please. There is some alternatives that we mentioned in the staff report. You can see from the angle of accessing the garage that a 2-car garage would present both the setback issue plus just a maneuverability problem in terms of getting that second car out. We do ask for garages to be recessed from the main elevation in order to reduce their prominence from the elevations, since they're not the most desirable feature on construction. Facing especially a small frontage such as this on a pie-shaped lot on the cul-de-sac, since there's not a lot of visibility to the rest of the house. So there is an option that they convert the family room back to a 2-car garage and then put the construction elsewhere. However, the floor plan is really dictating the relocation of the garage, so that new bedroom would not be separated or be in an odd location in the floor plan. So again, there are options for this, but the request is to accommodate a 4th bedroom, and the house is still under 2,000 square feet, and there's no net loss to the amount of parking that's provided to this house. So with that, staff does support this given the configuration of the lot and that it is an unusual shape. It isn't an overly large proposal, and given the accessibility to that garage area, the 1-car oversized is appropriate and would maintain the existing parking that's provided for this property. So with that, we do support it, and we'll conclude our presentation and then take any questions from you.
Commissioner Jane?
So attached to this project in our packet was the checklist for the Green Building Council. What was the purpose of that?
I'm not sure why that was included, but we have a routine that we have everyone fill out the green building checklist. It's really an educational tool for applicants that we require that they complete it before they move on to public hearing. So it may have been put there in error.
Okay.
It's really,
I was just wondering if they were trying to make this a specially green project, or it's not any different than any other project. Is that correct?
If there are additional green building measures, we'd have to defer to the applicant on that. But yes, we would just treat it as normal construction. That would not be a rationale. That isn't one that we would use for supporting a variance. It's related to conditions of the building or the land.
Okay, and then I saw in that checklist there was EV charging. And since this is a new garage, do you know if there's provision? I didn't see it in conditions.
If they're showing it, it would be on a voluntary basis because there's not a requirement for single family for additions at this time in the code.
Oh, there is not. Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Wang.
Just a quick question. Was there any neighborhood feedback on this?
As far as I'm aware, there was no opposition to the request.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a quick question for staff. I'm just trying to look at the picture here. I know there's difficulty adding a two-car garage. Is there any way we can request additional parking in the front? So even though they may not be able to park it in a covered parking spot, is there a chance that we can require one additional uncovered parking spot?
Yes, you could provide for an additional parking pad area or even a carport on site if that's your preference.
I would be okay with the parking pad. Commissioner Jane.
So in looking at the picture, it seems like one car could park in the garage and then one car would park in front of the house because the driveway is so wide, and presumably that's how it's already working.
Rosa, could you bring up the site plan for me, please? Thank you. Back one more. Advance forward. The other way. Next one. Yeah, so there is a significant amount of driveway area there in front to access the garage. So there's actually additional parking.
Okay, so what you're saying is the extended driveway would be additional parking space.
That definitely could be used for additional parking.
Now, is it wide enough to park one car and back out a car from the garage?
That's what I was going to mention is I would not recommend counting the space in front of the garage because then that would be a difficulty accessing around that. I would say more by the living space and towards the front of the house. Okay. Or adjacent to the driveway, so that the car could still access the new garage that's proposed.
Okay, so just an expanded parking area or pad, so they have room to park an additional car.
We could delineate that on the construction drawings. If this application is approved, we can have them delineate where there would be additional parking on there to make sure it's unobstructed parking.
Okay, that's good. Okay, anybody else? I don't see anybody. Let's have the applicant come up. Okay.
A little nerve-wracking after the last one. Hopefully it's anyway, go ahead.
What would you like to tell us, or do you have a presentation for us?
Yeah, I'm really not sure what to tell you. I'm happy to answer any questions. This is new to me. I can tell you there is ample parking space for 2 cars in the driveway currently. And if that helps, just your understanding. I mean, I think the picture shows it. It is a very large driveway.
Okay, so I think the only thing that I would request, since you do have enough space, is one additional parking pad so you can get a car in and out and have a place to park a car that's not in the way of getting the car in and out from the garage. That's my only concern. Anybody else?
Can I ask what that means when you say a parking pad?
It just means that you may have to pour a little bit more concrete so you have some place that you can park the car.
He already has it. He already has it.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, right now it is a very wide, very wide driveway.
Okay.
But so anyway, I think that means that we'd be easily
yeah,
able to,
if it's
to
wide
meet that
enough
requirement.
already, then you're fine.
Right.
Okay. Commissioner Jane. Okay.
That's all I was going to clarify, was that there's plenty of room for parking in front of the house.
You were asking about
So this is my thing. By 2025, there will be 1.5 million electric vehicles in California. And since you're building a whole new garage, I would just ask that you consider putting in the wiring, not the charger, for an electric vehicle in the garage.
I drive a Bolt.
Oh, you do? Okay. Very good.
It's in there.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have any questions. So I guess if you have nothing to present, we'll open it up to the public.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any member of the public that would like to speak on this item? Okay.
Motion to close public hearing.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion?
I move,
You didn't raise your thing? Okay, Commissioner Jay.
so I move to approve the variance and allow the attached garage.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That was quick.
So,
Congratulations.
So that decision is final, and it was unanimous, so unless there's an appeal within 7 days of this decision.
Okay. And I see one member of the public out there. Do you have a presentation for us?
No, just wanted to see what.
Oh, okay. Reports of commission and board liaison. Anything coming up? Any council meetings?
I think one is the committee assignments and the, I think there was a request for substitutes or alternates for the upcoming AC meeting.
Oh, yeah, we get a vote on that.
Well, I was wondering, were we going to vote for chair?
There's a.
Yeah, chair,
That's on the,
secretary.
oh, okay. Oh, election of officers. Okay, so I will not be able to attend the AC meeting on August 2nd, and neither can Yuki. So Raj has already, who's our alternate, has already been gracious enough to fill in for Yuki. So now I need somebody to fill in for me. So this is on August 2nd.
I could do that as well.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. All right. With that settled, let's talk about chair, vice chair, secretary, and who will be.
So just to remind everybody, there was a slate of officers presented. So we do have that in the minutes on page 3 of the 4 pages for June 28th. So the names are listed there if you want to take them.
Okay.
So I know we had this issue last year. I would actually like these votes to be secret ballots.
It's going to be kind of hard right now.
Off the,
Do it on a piece of paper or something and just hand them. I can walk by and pick them up.
Okay.
And hand them to Rosa
I don't
to
know
the-
offhand. I would say if that's the pleasure of the commission, if there's a motion to do it by secret ballots, then you can proceed that way. Frankly, I've never seen it that. I just have a brown eye.
We did it last
You did it by
time.
secret ballots last time?
Yeah.
What's,
Okay,
me
if
ask
that's
this.
the accepted practice.
does anybody have any objection to the slate of chair, vice chair, or secretary?
I thought it was
There are 2
contested.
people for chair
What?
proposed.
Oh, okay, so they're not just,
Yeah. All right, let's just do
okay, let's do secret ballot for chair. Okay?
Okay, I would.
Just use
Oh,
a piece
look,
of
we
paper.
already have.
He's on it. Here it comes, here it
Here we
comes.
go.
All equal size in paper.
I already took care of it, yeah.
Did you pass down? Okay, so you either put a B or Y.
We're not putting on anything else. just
I don't
chair.
think, yeah, just chair, because I don't think, there's no objection to Raj as vice chair and Jan as secretary, correct? Okay.
Oh, shoot. Government Code 54953C, no secret ballots, whether preliminary or final, are permitted. This violates the Brown Act.
We can't do it then. All right.
Can't do it this way. I apologize. You're gonna. Yeah, it's a Brown Act violation. And now that I've told you, if you do it deliberately, it's a criminal act. So I apologize. You're going to have to do it in public.
Okay. Do we have a presentation by the candidates?
I'd like to say something. Okay. Last week I encouraged other people besides me to apply for to nominate themselves for the chair position, but it was really late and it kind of slipped my mind. I've never served as a chair and I'd really like an opportunity to do that. And right now, last year when people asked me to apply, I didn't because I was very busy with, I had to do a lot of traveling for my work. But this year, things are a little more relaxed. I should be able to serve. So I'd really appreciate your vote for me to serve as a chair. Thank you.
And Brandon?
I will withdraw my nomination myself.
Okay. Okay. And just since I've been here the longest, I would just say that usually we give everybody an opportunity if they're here long enough. But I would say, if no one has any objection to it, if Yuki can't make it, if Brandon can be the fill-in chair, or the vice chair does it. All right, never mind. Okay, so if he withdraws it, let's just go ahead and vote on the slate that we have. That. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And now we have to talk about slate for architectural committee. Oh no, can we do them all at once?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that all?
We did all of them.
Yeah, can we do them all at once?
Hey, you did them all.
Okay. All right.
Oh, do you, well, if you.
I thought that's what you meant by slate. The
That's
chair,
what-
vice
that's what I
chair,
meant,
and
slate.
secretary.
Okay, because then there's no opposed.
Yes.
Architectural review for next year.
I think you voted on that at the last meeting.
Oh, okay, we already
So,
did?
Right.
Who is it, by the way?
Oh.
Okay, perfect then. All right, we're good to go then. All right. That was the hard part. All right. Okay, we did the appointments. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
No, I'd like to hear about the council.
Oh, the council. I'm sorry.
8-hour council meeting.
Okay, so I'll just concentrate on items that relate to the Planning Commission. And on the July 11th meeting, the Patrick Henry Specific Drive plan. This would be a part of General Plan Phase 3. The City Council authorized that the city staff planning department proceed with issuance of a request for proposal for a city-led preparation of a specific plan. That action was approved, so we'll be preparing that RFP and sending that out. Obviously, we have a lot of specific plans, and we're still working on the El Camino Real, the last elements of that
So-
contract.
The goal is to put more housing in that area then?
I wouldn't say it's absolutely housing. It's really looking at the mix of land uses. So it's actually supposed to take into account what is needed for both healthy economic and land use diversity. So all those things will be explored: infrastructure, the appropriate mix of the land uses, and residential will be a component of that.
Okay.
The ECR part, I know you're talking about a consultant for that or something.
Oh yes, we have a consultant. It's been appointed to Ramey and Associates, but there's some issues in terms of the traffic analysis. Those are the only things that are being worked out before they can begin work and start the outreach process. Right, because as you know, we're switching from a level of service analysis to VMT, and so there's some some hangups with that portion of it. But it should be coming up here that we start our outreach meetings, and the contract is executed fairly shortly. On the 18th of July, the other meeting from the City Council There was also another clarification regarding the Freedom Circle specific plan. And at this time, we requested council feedback on the request for proposals, the RFPs, for the development and direction as far as timing of the Greystar development proposal in that specific plan. And the council authorized that we go forward with the RFPs, but said that Greystar had to wait until the completion of that specific plan before they could go to public hearing. So they want the specific plan done. And so it would be like the Lawrence Station area plan, where it would possibly can go the same night if it's consistent with what the specific plan details in terms of the land uses and the designs and such that comes out of that process. And then you did see this a while back, the Historic Preservation Ordinance. The council did authorize that we move forward with the going through Planning Commission and then the pass to print for adoption of the Preservation Ordinance, with one addition to that, and that is since we're only going to have the HLC look at properties that are on the actual city's inventory, and those are listed in the general plan, that their concern was that properties surrounding historically significant properties could affect the integrity or the context of those historic properties. So they added in that we would refer any properties within a 100-foot radius of a property listed on the inventory would also go to HLC before it goes to AC. So those are the main points for your information.
I forgot the ADU. So, did the council accept our recommendation? I didn't see the video.
The ADU?
Yeah, did they make any changes to what we approved?
Yes, they actually, as Rebecca said, we eliminated the actual lot size requirement. So there's just restrictions if it's under 6,000 square feet, that there's a limitation on FAR for all the structures. And then there's other development standards associated with that. So, and then there's also a limitation on the size of the dwelling unit based for those smaller houses.
So they did approve something, but you said they had to have a second hearing?
That's correct. There was the first reading, and so the second reading is at the end of August. I hadn't realized they'd made any changes, though. That was interesting.
So did the same thing, right?
Yeah, I think that was the Planning Commission's recommendation, actually, to have the FAR.
I apologize. I don't recall that it was.
Yeah, no, my understanding, the city council basically, at that point in the evening, rubber stamped what you did, and you know, which amazed me because we had so many hours here, but I guess you guys did all the work, basically. Yeah.
So what is the minimum or the maximum time?
It is 1,200 square feet.
Okay, so that basically 1,200. Okay.
Of the upper floor, yeah.
Okay.
I have a couple of updates if you have any. Yahoo Vehicle, do you know what's the expiration on that approved planning site? Because I know Lake Echo is not proceeding ahead. What's the time limit for that approval?
I believe the DA was a 20-year period. 20. But they're into it already, I think, about 5 years. So it's probably another 15.
And the second thing is, any movement on Summerhill on Alpena?
The one that's next to Town Center?
Yes.
That one? Yes, they are proceeding with a rezoning and a general plan amendment. So they will be going forward to City Council as part of our new gatekeeper process. And that is because they would ask for let's see, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up their other project. They're going forward with senior housing, all senior housing, and they did bump up the retail, so they are meeting the requirements of the general plan.
So they coming to planning, or they're going?
They'll be going to Planning Commission first, yes, and then they'll be going to City Council. So they've basically withdrawn their prior proposal, and they're starting over, and they've reduced the height of the buildings. They've increased retail, and they put retail on Anna and El Camino, and they'll be going through the process once again, but they will be coming to Planning Commission first.
So that's going to be all senior housing?
All senior housing, market rate senior housing.
What's the age limit for, it start at 50 and above, basically?
I think it's 55 and above.
55.
But under state law, it has to either be 55 and above or 62 and above. It's probably a 55 development, this one.
Well, that'll be good.
With the senior housing, that means it has a lower parking requirement.
Yes, it does.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
I think it's a little under 1 parking space per unit. A little bit less than 1.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I'm not going to care next time.